Hello there, whether it's by choice or by chance, thank you for joining me today. My name is Jessica, also known as Selfie, and I have some stitches to talk about. This video will be part of a series where I combine my love of Pokemon with my love of crocheting, and I test crochet patterns to find the perfect one for me. Because I do love Pokemon, but I really love my favorite Pokemon, Mew. I love Mew, a perfectly normal, healthy, well-adjusted amount. Yeah, like I said, a normal amount. So now that we've established that I love Mew, and now that I'm 6,000 degrees for a 6-second bit, if you don't know me already, or you can't tell from everything else, I also love crocheting. I've been crocheting since 2013, and it just makes sense that I want to bring my favorite things to life with yarn. So when I ask myself, why have I never made Mew before? It really comes down to decision paralysis. There are so many patterns out there, and all of these patterns are going to differ from pattern maker to pattern maker, tester to tester, final piece to final piece. Every individual Mew that comes out of these patterns is going to be different, and that's wonderful. So I need to find the one that works best for me and the vision that I have. And when I say that a piece or a pattern doesn't align with what I'm envisioning, that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with that pattern. It's just that I have a particular goal in mind, something that I'm seeing that I want to bring to life, and I have to find the pattern that works best for my individual crochet style. Maybe it's my tension, the yarn I have available, the hook I use. So I'm really hoping that by testing several patterns, I can really pinpoint which pattern is the best one for me specifically. The goal of this is not to rank these patterns or rate them or pit them against each other. It's just going to be me having fun, crocheting, making my favorite Pokemon, and hopefully coming to the conclusion of which one is my favorite. So as you can see behind me, I do have my little Pikachu here. It's actually the first Pokemon that I crocheted, and he came from a book. I have this book of Pokemon crochet, and I bought this at the same time that I bought the second one as well. But I've only made the Pikachu pattern so far. And these are actually written by two different pattern creators. So Pikachu was made from the book by Sabrina Summers, and the Mew caught my eye. This is patterns by Lee Sartori. And this was the first time that I kind of found myself thinking like, okay, I really like, oh my gosh, I just opened, look how cute those are. Where I see this pattern creator's work and it's really cute and really well done. But then when I look at the individual Mew, it's not quite what I'm imagining. And I think for this one specifically, it is more about the like the yarn size and the yarn type. I'm noticing that these books tend to recommend a fairly thin, like a weight 3 DK type yarn, along with a pretty small hook. And I tend to work with worsted at the smallest. And of course for amigurumi, it's really popular to use, chenille, bulky, thicker yarns. So I don't want to immediately write off that pattern as it's not going to work out, because I think if we just change the yarn up a little bit, it would be really cute. And that was what really inspired me to start testing these patterns. I don't want to write anything off just because someone else's interpretation isn't exactly what I'm aiming for, because it's always going to be my interpretation at the end of the day. So the first order of business is, what pattern am I actually going to use? Right off the bat, I have a decision to make. Do I want to start with a more realistic, elongated, anatomically correct Mew, or do I want a nugget? And ultimately, I think you can tell based on looking at my collection, I want both. And I'm absolutely not gonna be mad if I end up with Mews of all shapes and sizes. I'm gonna make it easy on myself and start with a little chibi Mew. And the one I've selected for this is the Luma pattern by Hanrigurumi, and it's adorable. I couldn't find any tester images on the pattern itself, so I apologize if those are easily findable on the internet. I did not see any on the listing or the pattern, so I can't really compare how my work will be different from the testers, which will also be different from the original creator. But I do know that right off the bat, there's going to be a huge difference. The original creator made theirs with Hobie Honey Bunny, which looks like a skinny chenille yarn, and I simply do not have any of that in my stash. So what I do have, tried and true, worsted weight for just your standard everyday yarn. This could be your Red Heart Super Saver. This could be your Loops and Threads, your Big Twist. But it's nothing fuzzy, nothing chenille, nothing anything like the yarn that the original creator is using. So I'm off to a great start by completely deviating from what the original pattern creator used. We're doing what we can. With this, I may double strand it to get the thickness, but it does stand to reason that double-stranded worsted weight yarn simply is not going to look exactly the same as like a chenille or a bulky yarn. We'll see. If I'm absolutely not liking it, I may experiment. I do have this Estaco Velvet. I think I got this off of Amazon a while back. It is in the color 1330, and that right there is why I'm not wanting to use this immediately. Really close to what Hanrigurumi used for the original creation, but this pink is not Mew. In fact, it's another Pokemon. I bought this to make Slowpoke tails. This just isn't the vibe that I'm going for. I'd rather go for color accuracy first. If I'm really hating how the double-stranded worsted is working up, maybe I'll test some of this, and if it's looking 1,000 times better, I might consider ordering a perfect pink. But for now, that's going away. We're gonna keep old reliable, and I'm gonna go get cozy and actually get started on this. So I'll let you know how it goes. I'm all ready. I've got my pattern, I've got a YouTube video to watch, and I've got proper supervision. So let's dive in. I almost feel like I have to use the 8 because it's pink. If I'm gonna double strand this, yeah, let's try the 8. See how I like that. That seems really big though. I might already be regretting that. So double stranding it. No. 8 is gonna be too big. So, first frog. I think I'm gonna skip 7 entirely and just go with 6. Okay, it's better as far as holes are concerned. I'm already worried that I'm not gonna like this double-stranded and that I'm gonna just end up ordering yarn. Do I really want to do it? This is 24. So that's gonna be so big. Am I about to frog this again and do it single-stranded? Yeah, I am. That's what this process is all about. It's about testing and finding what works for me. And a ton of stitches, double-stranded, sorry Mew, does not work for me. I'm gonna go ahead and redo this and I'll check back in. All right, this is what I got done today. I got the head and the body done. And I did end up going to the single strand worsted weight. I did end up using my 3.5mm hook with the worsted weight, which is what I usually use with it. It's what I used on the Pikachu as well. And I do know that I want to work on my tightness and my tension when I'm doing decreases, because I do get, let me see if you can, yeah, I do get a little bit of hole gaping when I'm doing my decreases. I use an invisible decrease, but it's a little counterintuitive because you would think if you don't want there to be holes, you would pull tighter, but the way the yarn physics works is if you like don't give it enough slack to sort of relax and like mesh back together with itself, then you're gonna end up with holes. So I get a little anxious and don't trust the process, and then I end up having holes. But it's looking good. It's a little mushroomy right now. I do really like the one piece sort of muzzle nose situation. That's one of the things in other patterns that I shy away from, is when they make a separate nose that I have to sew on. I'm going to give my hands a break and I'll check back in next time there's progress. It's been about a week since I was at my friend Bethany's house and I got to work on Mews' eyes with needle felting, which I did use for my Pikachu, but instead of using like the pre-felted sheets, I actually got to use roving wool, and it was a really cool experience. I also got to play around with her polymer clay supplies and made a couple pairs of earrings and a magnet, and it was really nice. It was good to spend time with a friend, just crafting, making things, and we were there all the way up until the snow started. Like as I was leaving her house, which is about 45 minutes away from mine, the snow of the snowpocalypse was coming down in full earnest. And we've been snowed in just about ever since. So this past week has been doing a lot of crafts inside and a lot of cooking, and a little bit more than I normally do. I did finish Mew off camera. I just had a really chill night hanging out with husband unit, listening to music. We watched some of our favorite trivia shows, and I just wanted to work on something and went ahead and finished Mew. So let's have the reveal, shall we? Here she is. Isn't she adorable? She's got her little felted eyes. And I didn't put wire in the tail. I just went ahead and tacked the tail down in a couple places. Well, just one. I did also tack like the toes and the arms so they're not flopping around everywhere. And I'll also show you one of my favorite tricks for amigurumi to get them to sit up nicely on tables and such are these skewers. These are kebab skewers for an air fryer, and they're about 3 inches long, and they help my amigurumi sit up all cute. Well, now we have Mew all finished. I'm really happy with how she came out. It was a super quick workup. It was a really easy to follow pattern. Everything turned out as I was expecting it to. The only thing that I was really surprised by had nothing to do with the pattern at all. My baby pink, the lightest pink I had in my collection, is so much brighter than I realized. And when I put my Mew up against all my others for photos and took some video, I was like, oh, my baby pink is really more of like a Barbie pink. So I bought some more yarn. Oh no. To be fair, I was running very, very low on my pink worsted weight that I had, so I don't think I would have had enough of it left to make another Mew with whatever the next pattern is. I may have mentioned, depending on what editing selfie includes, that I originally bought these, the Feels Like Bliss. I always get the Feels Like Bliss and Feels Like a Dream mixed up because I bought both at the same time for the first time, but I have not used the Feels Like Bliss yet. And when I was working with the Feels Like a Dream for some Christmas presents, it was a lot different than I was anticipating. And I was also working with a new pattern, and I ended up having to make that pattern once in worsted weight stranded with the Feels Like a Dream, and then I did a double strand of the Feels Like a Dream for a nice chunky amigurumi. It was a cat in this case for my niece's Christmas present, because I didn't have the feel yet for the pattern. I hadn't done it before. Same thing, I also made some Stardew Valley chickens with the Feels Like a Dream, and I had to do them with worsted weight first, because the pattern, getting like the body shape, the decreases and the increases to get that unique tail and neck positioning, I'm not counting those stitches accurately for the first time with fuzzy yarn. So I bought these for Mew when I saw them because they're just so cute and I was so inspired. My favorite Mew, well, they're all my favorites. One of my favorite Mews in my plushie collection is a like fluffy, almost like a Sherpa looking Mew. I'll actually go grab it really quick. It's really close to the front. This little one, you can see she's all textured. And I just really, it's so cute. We have a Pokemon store in my local mall that has all sorts of plushies and toys, and they have a baby section, just little baby toys. And they're all just the most darling little pastels and fluffy fabrics, and oh, they're so cute. So I really wanted to do something like that with a Mew, but ended up starting this whole series so I could find a pattern that I liked, that I wouldn't have to wrestle with too much once I'm making it with the fuzzy yarn. What's the rest of this? Oh, yeah, I bought more yarn because I'm not jumping right to this. I only have one skein each. I'm not sure, depending on how big of a Mew I make. I'm probably not gonna be able to get 2 out of a single skein. So skein, that's like crochet YouTuber 101 is picking how you're gonna say skein or skein and sticking with it. I fluctuate, but I think I'm only gonna be able to make 1 out of this. So I wanna make the pattern that I vibe with the most. To practice that, I did end up getting some skinny chenille by Loops and Threads, and oh my God, it is skinny. It's classified as a weight 4, and this is the color Piglet, and that's so darling, and it's so accurate too. If I were to be crocheting a Piglet from Winnie the Pooh, this would be it, or a Piglet. I don't think I realized that chenille or velvet or otherwise sort of fluffy yarns got this thin. So I'm really excited to start working with this and see how it works up. And of course I got the shiny color as well. So I'll probably make, I don't want to say I'll make 1 of every pattern I make in each color, but I am already tempted to make another Hanagurumi Mew in both the shiny skinny chenille and the pink. But then I also, yarn was buy 2, get 1 free when I bought these. So I found this. This is the Loops and Threads Faux Fur Polyester. It is in the color number 4, and oh my gosh, it's so soft. And when I'm thinking of this, like, oh my goodness, that they're gonna be best friends, and there's a lot here. So I feel like I have a little bit more wiggle room to make another fluffy Mew. So those are my yarn plans for going forward. My next plan for a pattern, after having great success with this one, the Luma pattern by Hanagurumi, I left her a 5-star review. It was a great pattern. And with this being just, you know, a little nugget, just a little squishy nugget, I think the next one I want to make will be more of like a medium proportioned, something. I've seen some, just put the loading symbol. It's not a consistency. Trends, that's what it is. I've seen some trends in the Mew patterns that I'm looking at where some of them will have, you know, a nose that is built into the face like this one is, one that is sewn on, similar to the ears. Almost all of them have the ears sewn on. I don't think I've seen any where the ears were worked directly onto the head, but some of them have like hips. They've got little hip joints, little haunches right here. So I think I want to try a pattern that has more defined legs next and maybe a sew on nose to see how that is. I am trying very hard to get better at sewing. 13 years of this and I still have a lot to learn. But the next pattern I go for will likely be more of a medium proportion, not quite, you know, a elongated, realistic Mew, but not quite a nugget either. And I'm really looking forward to making that and continuing to grow my army of Mews. And I'm also really looking forward to documenting it because this was really fun to do. And I think it's really fascinating to see something go from nothing to something. That's one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube. I don't typically watch, you know, a lot of tutorials or anything. I just kind of like to watch people craft and yap. And they always say, you know, make the kind of things that you like and people who like the same things will find them. And if you found this, I really appreciate you sticking around and hanging out with me. There's a really high chance that this is my very first video on YouTube that I will post. And with that comes all of the super scary things about putting yourself out there and hoping that your people find you. And if you are my people, thank you for finding me. Thank you for hanging out with me. Please do all those things that we have to ask for to get the algorithm to find more of our people. Send a comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell. You know the drill. And I hope you'll join me next time when we do something else fun with some stitches. Take care. Bye.